Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to do this drawing. This was for a client of mine for her makeup page, and it was really highly requested that I actually show you how to do my drawings like this. So I will be showing you how to do that today. Okay, so I'm going to start by just doing the simple black outline. If you just basically do your outline first of the main features, so for this it's going to be just doing the eyes, just the basic outline, you don't need to add any detail yet. And then you want to do the holes of the nose. So for this, if instead of using the pen tool, you switch to using the pencil, and that just means that when you draw, you'll get like a full black fill on it, which is obviously what you need for something like that. It makes it really easy. So now I'm just outlining all the other features, so doing the lips here, and also if there's any like prominent features or like lines on the face, also just do them, but I wouldn't do too many. It could end up looking a little bit crazy if you do that, so just keep it minimal, just do a few lines. Yeah, also the mouth is the thing that I find the hardest, because that's something that you're not tracing fully. You kind of need to like improvise with that and see what looks good, so it takes me a long time to do that. Something else which is really important to add is that you always need to be making sure that your lines are completely closed. That is crucial. Okay, so to make your own brush, go to the circle tool, and then you just need to slim it down and get the ends so they're pointy. So you just need to stretch out the ends like I'm doing here, and just set the circle color to whatever color you want your brush to be. So here I was doing the eyebrows, so I wanted it a light brown color. And then all you need to do is drag that circle shape then into your brushes and select it as an art brush. And then like you can see here, you've got a really nice brush with like a pointy edge, which makes it really handy for doing things like eyebrow hairs. So yeah, I also did the main body of the eyebrow just using a pencil tool again, just to get that full fill on it. I'm now just continuing to outline all the other parts. So for this client, she wanted to be holding makeup brushes, so that was really easy because she was already in the picture holding them, so I just made sure I outlined everything else. Like I said, just make sure even on like the bottom of it, you're making sure you're closing all of your lines, otherwise this is going to be a nightmare later on. Okay, so now I'm using my pencil tool, and that's such a lifesaver when it comes to doing hair. So you just need to do a basic outline and not worry too much about detail, and it will just fill it in for you automatically. So just getting a nice blonde shade here. It doesn't matter if it's the exact shade, because later on we're going to be adding some like more like dirty blonde tones to it anyway, so just get a rough idea of it. Basically just go around the face, trace where the hair is. With this one it was a bit more difficult because I also had the makeup brushes to work around, but usually it's a lot easier than this. It's pretty much just a case of improvising here, obviously because you need to add in a little bit more texture and detail and shape into it, otherwise it will look a bit like a blob. So just kind of improvising, see what looks good, and yeah, just have a bit of a play around with it. So now I'm just making sure that my lines are closed, and I'm going to go in and add some eyelashes. Again, I've learned that it's kind of just easiest to improvise with this. Don't trace every single one of someone's eyelashes, otherwise it will look a bit crazy. This style of drawing is best when you kind of just do bigger things and not like finer details. So I would just improvise, see what looks good. So just adding a few more little details onto the face. You don't want to go crazy and do too many, but it does look really good if you add a few. Okay, so once you've done all of your outline and filled in things like the eyebrows, and the hair, the next step is to get the skin tone on that. So the easiest way to do this is once you've done all of your outlines, select all of it using the arrow tool. So select all of it, and then you need to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and then Merge. And then if you duplicate the layer that you've been working on, make sure you lock the top layer and then go back onto that middle layer you're working on. If you then just draw a rectangle and fill that with the skin tone that you want, and just make sure that that is sent to the back. So if you right click on the rectangle, just go Arrange, Center Back. Once you're happy with the skin tone, highlight everything again, and then click Merge again. You're going to now go right click and go Isolate Selected Layers, and then you can simply just delete the rectangle and you should be left with just the skin tone where you want it. If something has gone wrong, you will know, and that's simply because you haven't closed the lines properly. So you just need to go back a few steps and just double check that all your lines are closed off. So now what you can do is, if you have closed your lines properly, you can then go through on all the different elements and just fill them in with the color that you want. So this is actually a really fun bit to do, and it makes it look like your drawings had like so much progress. So if you just go in and choose the different colors. So here I am choosing the colors of the makeup brushes, and then I'll move on to do the eyes and the lips. Okay, so once you're happy with all of them colors filled in, you then can duplicate that layer again and hide that layer just for the time being. And then what you need to do is right click, Isolate Selected Layers again, and just delete all of the skin tone from that new duplicated layer, so that then when you add your shading in, you can do it so that it's not going on all of the bits you've just filled in, if that makes sense. So once you delete the skin tone from that, you can then create a new layer and place that in the middle of the other two layers, and that's where you can then start working on your shading. So when you start shading, it's really important that you keep on referring back to the picture that you're copying from, to make sure that you're getting the light and shadows in all the right places. So it does take a bit of practice to kind of get the shapes and stuff like that you want, but the main thing is you're always looking at what the actual picture has, and that'll be a massive help. So for each colour of each shadow, I like to do it on a separate layer, just so if you need to tweak the colours, it's then really easy and you're not messing them all up at the same time. So you just basically have more control. So make sure also whenever you're not working on a layer, keep it locked to avoid anything getting ruined or moved. Okay, so once you've done all of your shading, you can then move on to doing the eyes. This is just the order I like to do it in. So the eyes are actually really simple. All you need to do is just add the 2 white dots, which I use the pencil tool for. And then you just need to create the colour of the eyes. So I think it's the easiest method is just to create that wavy kind of circle shape that I'm doing, and it got cut off here. But what I do is I create the blue once, then you can create a new layer and add a slightly lighter blue, and then again add a slightly lighter blue over that to really create a more realistic eye effect. Okay, so my recording cut off when I was doing this, but basically now I'm moving on to adding a bit more detail to the hair. So how I do this is by using the gradient tool, which is a massive lifesaver when it comes to doing this. So for this one, because my person was blonde, she had more dirty blonde roots. So that's what I'm doing here. You can just simply do a gradient of a darker colour to then what your actual colour of hair is, and then just adding in lots of brush strokes to create the illusion of hair. And then once I've done the roots, I'm basically just doing the same thing, however altering the gradient, so it's going from your actual hair colour of the person then to what you want your highlight or low light to be, and then back to the actual colour. So you're adding in 3 gradient points here, and I didn't want it to look too intense with this one, so I basically did it and then lowered the opacity so it wasn't as in your face. Something else which is a really nice touch and that I like to do is just by adding a little bit of a highlight to the eyebrows as well. So for this, it's basically just the same thing, but you just need to sample the colour of the eyebrow and then pick a slightly lighter shade of brown And then you can just go on and do the same technique with the brush, and then it just adds a nice pop of highlights. It makes it stand out a little bit more. My recording was being really annoying, so things I also didn't show you on here was when I did the detail in the brushes, the nose ring and the necklace, but it was all just the same technique of using the brush strokes and the pencil tool just to fill in blocks, so nothing crazy. And here she is. This is the final result. So I hope you all enjoyed watching. This was my first attempt at showing you how to do it. So yep, there were quite a lot of technical difficulties, but still I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.